All right. What's up, everybody? All right, well, we'll wait a few seconds for people to get in here, and we'll do a little demonstration on Trucking Office because there's a lot of guys that are using the program, and for all the other guys that want to see what it looks like, we'll get right into the right into the good stuff about the program. What's up, Brian? Big Houston, Jonathan Wheeler, Adrian, what's up? Morning, Big Rig Bill, Zeke, what's going on? Audio's low. Well, we can turn it up. How's that? We got good audio now. Should be higher now. Here we go. We'll just go right to the Trucking Office since we got some people up in here, and then everybody else can just watch it on the replay, right? So we will switch it to the desktop view, and let's transition that to the desktop. All right, so when you first sign up for Trucking Office, you're going to get these little get started little buttons here to push. This is a trial version right here, and I've already pushed the buttons and put some stuff in, and I uploaded some customers and things like that from the full version that I've been using for over about a year now. Well, over a year. So we'll get to that. Let me bring this YouTube channel up to make sure that everything is being recorded so I can see comments and and things like that. So bear with me for just a second. All right, so we're all set up on that. Upstate, what's up? Mo Miles, what's going on? All right, so you can hit this, say, add first plan load, but since I use this thing all the time, I'm just going to go to load planner, and then you would hit add a plan load. Okay, so it'll do a custom load number. This is optional, but let's say this is load number 1, and customer name. Now this is going to be the broker that you're dealing with, direct shipper, or whoever it is. So let's say it's C.H. Robinson, right? And as I start typing a name, it's going to have all these names that are already pre-built in that we have done over the years. So it'd be that simple to add that. And then the shipper, let's just start typing in the shipper's name. So as you see, you can scroll down all these shippers. And let's just say it's the Bay Rackyard in Flint. And we could say that it's picking up today. And we could put a bill of lading in there. And you could fill the rest of this stuff out if you wanted to. And you can start typing in an address also. So if I start typing an address, it'll pull all these people in here. So let's just say it's going down to J.M. Smucker Company. And we can say it's going to deliver same day. And down here you can put in primary fees, flat fees, fuel surcharge, all this stuff. So we'll just say it pays $1,000, and then you hit save. Now you can attach a rate con. If you hit attach a rate con and you choose a file, it'll bring up your files, right? All this stuff here. And you could just put these files in, you could just pick one, right? You could just pick one. So I could go into this thing here and I could just hit rate cons, and I could pick any one of these rate cons. And if I picked one and hit choose and upload, it's going to upload that rate con in there, and you can sit there and look at it. You can view it, edit it, and it saves it in the back office under their file save program. So you don't have to keep the hard copies. And that's all set up. See, and if you look at the load planner again, there's the load right there. Nobody's assigned to it. So you could add another plan load, and if you hit that button, and let's say it's load number 2, and let's say the customer is, just start typing a name, but if it was like England Logistics or something, there they are. And then the shipper, let's say it's coming out of Lansing, Michigan, and this load also picks up on the 9th but delivers on the 11th. And we'll just say the consignee is going down to Tip City. Put a bill lading number in there. Let's say that load pays $800, and you hit save. And the same thing, you could attach a rate con to it, just like the other one, because you could attach a BOL later. I'll show you that. So we just hit attach rate con, choose the file, you go into your files, and we'll just pick one and upload it. Alright, so now if we're in this load planner screen, you see we have 2 loads. They're not assigned to nobody. I had put 2 drivers in here. They're going to be owner-operator drivers with percentages, and I put different percentages per owner-operator just to show you an example, right? And so we'll look at this first load. If we hit view it, it's really simple. Add trip is in green. So next thing we want to do is add a trip. We hit add trip. See, there's 4 steps as you've seen in that bar across there. Load plan, add trip, invoice, and then pay it out, right? So custom trip number, I use the same number as the plan load number. So this is load number 1. Now driver, see, you just click on this and it drops down the menu of your 2 drivers, because I got 2 drivers in here. I'm going to pick ABC LLC, and then I'm going to drop down and pick his truck and his trailer. And then once you do that once, it'll pre-populate every time after that. As soon as you pick him, his truck and trailer will show up there automatically. Now, if he has another routing stop, you can add it in at this point. Fuel expenses you can add in. Any truck expenses you can add in. And reefer expenses you can add in at this point. Well, for right now, we're not going to add nothing in. Okay, I'm just going to hit save. Now, here's his trip. And here's his settlement so far, right? He's at 85%. So out of that 1,000, he's at 850. When he gets the BOL, I could hit attach BOL, and then I could choose a file and go in here and just pick a BOL that was he sent in, and now that trip has a BOL and a rate kind of attached to it, right? So here's this trip. So if he gets done with this trip, and you attach the BOL that he sends in, signed, your next step is invoice. So you'd hit create invoice. And when you do that, it pre-populates an invoice number for you.
Where should I pull the car to do that? Because it's
In
too
the
wet down
driveway.
there.
Oh, up in the other driveway's fine. At the end of the driveway.
At the end of the driveway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so you put the invoice in here. And then the remit to, since we use Thunder Funding, and this incorporates really easy with Thunder Funding, I just start typing in Thunder, and they come up right there. Click on it, hit create invoice, and now the invoice is created, right? It's created. And the trip is right here under trips. There it is. So if we want to edit that trip because he bought fuel, then you go in here, and owner-operators, they pay for their own fuel, right? So you hit add fuel expense. Let's say you bought fuel on the 9th. If he's an owner-operator, you do not put an amount in this box right here, because this is for company-paid fuel. I'll show you this. Put 50 gallons. Let's say you bought 50 gallons. This will also do your IFTA. Fuel vendor. All right. So I'm going to start typing in a town. So here's TA, Bridgeport, Michigan, right? You scroll down, you pick Michigan, so it knows for IFTA purposes. Include on driver settlement. Reimburse driver, deduct. This is where you hit deduct from driver pay. This is where you put the amount. So let's say that was $3 a gallon, so it's 150 bucks. And in the memo, I always just put in fuel 50 gallons, right? And then if you hit save, that'll save it. Now, if you go down to a settlement, see, now here it is. Fuel, 50 gallons, minus 150 bucks. His settlement is $700. You see that? It's a really smooth system. Now, if I hit invoices, and let's say Thunder Funding pays me, I go in here and hit enter payment, and there it is. And in this expense category, right, there's nothing there. So I'm going to add a category, and I'm going to call it, you could call it a Thunder fee, or you just call it factoring fee, right? I'm going to call it factoring fee. Hit save. And the amount I'm going to say is, let's say it's 3%. You add factoring fee, now it's going to deduct that fee, 30 bucks. Balance due $970. So if they paid you $970, you hit add payment. It zeroes out, you hit back, and so your invoice is at 0. Now, the way you get this to Thunder Funding is, once you did the invoice like this, you hit send via email. Now check this out. Oh, we don't want that up there. It got some of my other stuff on there. But you would pick, I'd pick Thunder Funding down here. Invoices at Thunder Funding. And then I'd pick BOL, RateCon, and hit send. And what that would do is that would send that invoice with the BOL and the RateCon attached to Thunder Funding. Okay? That's what that would do. Then of course, then they would pay on it. So, if we look at the trip, we've seen that, we edit it. So once they pay it, you can go into your trip and you can actually, we'll view it, go down here to new settlement, right? So you're going to pay the driver. You hit new settlement, you pick which driver it is, and just look at the dates, and there's the trip right there. If you click on it, hit save. This is his settlement, right? It's got your company address up here. It's got his earnings, $850 minus the deductions, net earnings, and it gives him his trip, right? Flint to Toledo, $850 minus his fuel is $700. Now you can hit a PDF version of this, and this is really slick because this is what I send to everybody, is the PDF version, right? It's going to have the company, it's going to have the driver, it's going to have your gross earnings, net pay, and then at the bottom down here, it's going to have your trips that you run. So if there's 3 or 4 trips, they're all in there with the gross earnings. And it's going to have your fuel. And it's going to keep your year-to-date gross, your year-to-date deductions, and your net year-to-date earnings. Okay? All those are going to be generated on that. And you send it to them. So as they do more and more loads, those will increase, right? So we'll do that. We'll go into Load Planner. In the second load, what we're going to do is we're going to edit this. Just for the we're going to say the other guy picked up, just so it looks good, right? He went down to let's see where that first load went. There it is. It went to Toledo. Okay. So on the Load Planner, this one's Lansing. So let's say Dad had to back up to Lansing and went to this Tip City. So we're not going to edit it. We're going to view that. We're going to add trip, and we're going to pick the same driver, right? And it's load number 2, same driver. See, it pre-populates his truck and trailer number in there once I pick it. We're going to hit save. And there it is. So it's got his percentage and it's got his rate per mile. It's 321. Shows the profit per mile for the company, everything like that. You go down to the bottom, it's going to show you his miles. Empty miles is 124, loaded is 248. Okay, because it's showing him coming from his last stop in Toledo to Lansing to Ohio. All right, so it shows you all that, keeps track of all this, miles for IFTA purposes and so forth. if you're using it for IFTA and not, the ELD portion. So let's say he delivers this load, right? So you'd go down and hit create invoice and start typing in under funding, create the invoice, and then I'd hit send via email and check those boxes like before, right? But we're going to go back to the trip and I'll show you the pay on it. All right, let's say he didn't buy any fuel. He just got a settlement. We're going to pick that, click that, click that. It's really fast. There's his pay. And we show the PDF version of this so you can see what I'm talking about. There's his 680. And then when you come down here, here's 680. And then when that adds the both loads up, he has 1530 year to date. His fuel that he had purchased. So he's got a net earnings so far of 1380. So that's how that works. And if you go to dashboard, you can get all this stuff here. Company overview. And if you run that report, it's going to show you in March, there's $1,800 revenue. Revenue pays $1,000. Expenses, profit is $240 to the company. It shows you the miles, revenue per loaded mile. Shows you the profit that the company made off of that load per mile so far, right? You can go to dashboard. You can run the IRP state miles. And if you do that and generate it, there's your miles right there for IRP purposes. It's got loaded and empty and total miles. And then if you scroll down the states, it shows you the states that you had trips in. That's one of them there. You can do fuel vendor, fuel expenses, quarterly IFTA, unit revenue. So if you hit unit revenue, generate that report, you're going to see truck number 1 generate 1,800, truck 2's done nothing. You can hit unit miles, generate that report, and it'll show you that unit 1 did 491.3 miles and truck 2 hasn't done anything. So all these reports as you go along will help you out in the business. So we'll get more in depth with this program as time goes on. But you can look at expenses. It'll do that. Driver settlements. If I bring that up, it'll show you these 2 settlements from this driver. It'll include all the other drivers that you have. And if you want to do the IFTA, I don't know if this thing's set up yet for it, but we'll see. 2019, generate. Okay, here's the IFTA report, right? There's your gallons purchased. There it is, miles per gallon. And if you scroll down, you'll see Michigan was 327 with 50 gallons bought. And then Ohio was 165 miles. And that's how you do your IFTA, right? So there you go. So it's a real smooth system, easy to use. And, if you want to go in here to the settings, you can add drivers. So if you hit drivers, here's the 2 drivers. All you got to do is hit add driver, and you fill in all these information on this driver. Now pay, you can do manual pay, load percent, pay per mile, driver contract. So if you did pay per mile, then you just put how much unloaded mile, how much an empty mile, and so forth. And you can do emergency contacts 1 and 2, your hire dates, your medical renewal certificate, their license, their driver's license expiration date, and this will notify you when it is time for them to renew their stuff, right? So that's it can do all that stuff. It's a pretty powerful program. Now if you hit addresses, and you can hit customers, and you can look up an address also, and it'll show you that. So if you need to look up something, it will show you. So like Coyote Logistics, if you type Coyote in there they are, right? So you can view them, and it'll show you their address and everything. And then you can, if you get a CVS file, Excel CVS file, you can upload, you can import all your stuff if you need to. of customers, everything. If you have it on if you're using Excel or something, you can just take all those if it's in CSV file format and just load it right up in there. So you don't have to enter in everything, right? So if you have all the truck stops listed in a file like that, you can load it up and it's there. Okay. So that'll probably be it for this tutorial. All right, so we'll shut it off there because we've been on here about 20 minutes. We don't want to make these long videos because we'll do some more videos on it later. And MoMouse is this is a pretty smooth system. It's really smooth. Once you get the hang of it, you can fly right through it, right? You can put trips in really fast and so forth. You know, I've been using it for a while. So if I take us back to the desktop and just show you, right? So I wanted to add a load. I just hit load planner, add a plan load, and then it'd be load number 3, and then the customer. And I just start typing. I'd hit that shipper. Let's say it's South Central in Georgia, and it's picking up on Monday, and I put in a bill lading, and I come over here, and then I start typing in a name. Let's say it's going there, and it's the 13th. Come down here and it pays $2,100. Hit save, and that's that. And I could add attach rate con, do that real quick, and I could add trip just to show you how fast it works. And we're going to pick this driver here, truck 2, because we didn't pick him yet. And hit save, and now he's on that trip. Right there it is, and it shows his money and so forth, and it shows all the miles. But it's going to do a deadhead from here, so it's going to have a huge deadhead, right? Because that's the initial location. But this is just for showing purposes. So you know, if he delivered that load, I would just go in here, say attach bill of lading, click on these buttons to attach the bill of lading, and then I would hit create invoice, and the invoice number is 1002. It's right there. We're going to make it 1003, and there's the date. I just start typing Thunder Funding, hit create invoice, and if I hit enter payment, right, I can pick factoring fee, 3%. It was paid. Add that. There it is, 63 bucks. Add payment. It zeroes it out. Because if I list invoices, see these are paid. This one isn't paid yet. So let's enter that payment real quick. Pick factoring fee. Put in 3% if you're at 3. Hit that. Hit add payment. Go back. Now if you list invoices, they all have been paid. See, it's that quick. So if I hit this trip and I go to number 3, there it is. If I hit new settlement and wanted to pay, I pick the driver. It shows me his settlements. I pick it. I save it. It pays him. Then I would just hit PDF. And once it's at the PDF, I'd hit the little button there and pick mail and mail it to him. So it's that quick. That quick, folks. So it's that quick, man. Yes, Luther, it automatically calculates percentage pay. I showed that when you set up a driver, you can set them up as percentage, mileage, contract pay, you know, however you want to do it, and it does it. So if I go back to the desktop screen, I'll show you real quick before we get off the video here. If you go into settings, hit drivers. Here's this driver, John Doe. We're going to view him. Shows him he's at 80%. If we edit the driver, we can fill all this information out, and right down here, if you click on this default payment type, load pay percent per mile, manual or driver contract. So there's a percentage. We put in the 80%. We hit save. And there it is. All right. So if you go to the trips and you look at one of these trips and you view it, you're going to see that the trip paid $800, primary fee 80%, 85%. This guy put in, so his pay would be $680 for the 85%, right? So if we look at the other trips and go to the other driver, That's $2,100 pay. He's at 80%, so he gets $1,680 of the $2,100. And then it shows the profit over here. $2,100, the company would profit $420 on that load. This is the revenue per mile. Expenses per mile because you're paying him, and that would be the profit per mile. And then down at the bottom, it shows you all the miles by state for that trip, loaded and empty. And it shows you where they last left off, where they went, and so forth. So, and if you make a mistake, this is the best about this program over all the other ones I've seen, right? So, let's say we're in the trips, and let's say you just said, well, you know, here's this trip, right? Well, let's go to invoices first. This last invoice we did, that's that trip. Let's delete it. Now it doesn't exist, right? It deletes it all from the system. It takes all that money back out, okay? So now if we go to trips and we go to trip 3, see, there's the delete button. Because if we go view, it hasn't been invoiced, right? It hasn't been invoiced. So if we go to his driver settlement and we delete that, okay, now that's deleted. So if we go to the trip and we go to trip 3, see, the settlement button's back to green. So it just took it right off, just like that. Like he's never been paid, like it's never been ran yet. And you can delete the whole trip. And if you delete that trip, it's gone, right? Trip 3 is gone. You go to load planner and it put it right back into load planner, right? So we can say, okay, we're in the load planner. Driver, our second driver didn't. This is load 3, and it was the first driver that took the load. And it pre-populates everything in there. We could hit save, and now he's on that load. You can say he done the load, and it shows you the money right there. So once he delivered it, you can attach BOL, hit create invoice, and we pick Thunder Funding, and then we hit create, and then we'd hit send via email, and we'd pick BOL and Raycon and hit send to Thunder Funding invoices, and it boom, it sent it right to them. And if they paid, you hit enter payment, pick your factoring fee, 2, 3, 4%, whatever it is, add payment back, and then I could go to trips and say, okay, and I'm gonna pay the driver. So I hit the settlement tab, there he is. I pick his trip, I hit save, it shows I'm paid. I hit the PDF. Now that's going to show his pay on that, $1,785. It's going to show his gross, and then it's going to show his year-to-date gross earnings from all the loads that he ran, minus any fuel he bought. So it's that simple, that quick. All right, there you go, folks. I wanted to keep these roughly about 30 minutes long. We're at the 28:20 mark, so we'll see y'all later. I got to go to attend to the husky. I think the kids are in there playing, and she wants to play, I guess. So we'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching. And if you want to try this program out, they don't ask for a credit card. It's 30-day free trial. The discount codes are in the bottom. If you put in BRRN 2018, you get 10% off for life for the subscription, monthly subscription. And you try it for free. All they ask for is an email address and your name and a password. And you're up and running within seconds. So you just, as soon as you do that, as soon as you put in an email, your name and password in, you can click on sign in, and you got full operation of the program. You pick how many trucks you have. As you have more and more trucks, the monthly rate increases. They don't count trailers, so it's just trucks. So it's like 1 to 2 trucks is X amount per month, 3 to 7 trucks is X amount, and so forth, right? And it works really, really good. And it integrates, the invoice integrates really good with Thunder Funding. They accept this whole thing, so it's all by click of the buttons to send everything out and get paid. So no filling out forms and all that, stuff, right? You just upload the Raycon and BOL in there, and it automatically generates the invoice, and you click what to send them, and it sends it to them. and then you get paid, and then you go through and do all your settlements, and you're done for the day, right? All right, we'll see y'all later. Everybody have a good one, and if you're out there trucking, be safe.